I've already decided I will not vote to fund the government unless we have passed an impeachment inquiry on Joe Biden. I will not fund the government because I will not fund the weaponized part of the government. I'm not going to continue to fund the Biden regime's weaponized government. So there should be no funding for Jack Smith's special counsel.
Well, great. Margie Taylor Greene there sharing the demands that would secure her vote to avoid a government shutdown, and that was just 2 of them. The Congresswoman also told the town hall event that she would vote for a continuing resolution that funds mask mandates or vaccine mandates for COVID, and she will not vote to fund the war in Ukraine. Joining me now is California Congressman Robert Garcia, a Democratic member of the House Homeland Security and Oversight Committees. Welcome, sir. Just curious your response to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And do you think she's an outsider, or do you expect other Republicans to follow and also not vote to fund the government?
Yeah, I mean, I have the unfortunate pleasure of being the only Democrat in Congress to serve on all 3 committees with Marjorie Taylor Greene, so I probably spend more time with her.
What?
Than anyone.
My
so I can tell you,
but anyway.
Thank you. I can tell you that she is absolutely leading the train and leading that MAGA train in Congress. She is a leader. Kevin McCarthy has empowered her. She is the strongest voice in the GOP. Her views are completely extreme. And you can see how she is linking her just rabid desire to want to impeach President Biden to shutting the government down. She's willing to cut pay for firefighters, for national health care workers, for the workers who are moving this country forward, just so she can impeach the president. And so this is the kind of person that we're dealing with, someone who won't acknowledge helping really anyone. She's just completely focused on dragging the country away from a strong democracy and to some warped right-wing version that she views in her head. It's really insane comments, what she is saying. And unfortunately, Kevin McCarthy is empowering her.
Yeah, well, this threat about an impeachment inquiry floor vote against President Biden, to your point, Speaker McCarthy now says it's the only way that they would open one. The New York Times, rather the NBC News reporting that the war room at the White House now preparing to respond to an expected impeachment inquiry. I know you're on the Oversight Committee. That has seen Republicans lead an investigation into the president. So what could the administration actually be facing here? Does this war room that they are reportedly working on and have opened up, does it indicate they view it as a real threat?
Well, I think of course, the White House has got to be prepared for anything. I think they're first and foremost focused on governing, on passing, historic legislation like the Inflation Reduction Act, climate work, what just happened with prescription drug prices and being able to negotiate for lower costs for seniors and others. That's the real work that's happening. But of course, we're going to be prepared. We have to be. When Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and George Santos control the Republican Party, we have to expect anything. And let's be very clear. They have now made it very public that whatever type of impeachment inquiry they open up is clearly political. And they're willing to shut down the government and stop the economy from moving forward. It's been obviously improving under the president, just for their own political revenge. And so it's really shameful. We should be alarmed. All Americans should be alarmed at what's happening. And we should be really concerned that Kevin McCarthy continues to empower Marjorie Taylor Greene as the leading voice in Congress. So she is the leading voice on their side.
That's extraordinary. Well, Democratic ranking member on the Oversight Committee, Jamie Raskin, says he is asking Republican Chair James Comer to subpoena Jared Kushner. He wants former President Trump's son-in-law to produce documents about money that his investment firm has received from Saudi Arabia and some other Gulf monarchies. And this is what he told my colleague Chris Hayes. Take a listen to this.
We know that Kushner pocketed $2 billion and a $25 million a year management fee from the Saudi government, and the UAE and the Qatar government have also kicked in money. So there's more than $3 billion in there. We want to be able to reconstruct what exactly those countries got out of it. We want all the information in the same way that the committee is going for all the information about Hunter Biden, who, after all, never worked for the government, was not in the Biden administration.
Is there any expectation that Chairman Comer will act on this? And if he does not, what does that say?
I mean, look, I think obviously our leader on the committee, Jamie Raskin, is right. And let's add one more point to this. Jared Kushner was the leading negotiator and leading voice in the White House on Middle Eastern affairs for his father-in-law, Donald Trump. And so to leave then the White House, and I'll add, he began receiving these payments only 2 months after he left the White House, and it's ballooned to over $2 billion from the Saudi government and other Middle East governments. That is insane. And so we've got to make sure that we investigate this in a way that's appropriate. And it's comical that they tried to link the president's family, who never worked for the government, who are not working for the White House, who's a private citizen, who there's zero evidence of any sort of link, yet they're unwilling to actually investigate the Kushners, who have profited in the billions of dollars from their work in the White House. And so we're prepared. We are prepared to keep asking to subpoena these documents. We're pushing on Chairman Jim Comer. In fact, he actually said to the media that he thought it crossed an ethical line. So great, if it crossed an ethical line, then it's time to bring forward the Kushner. I want to see the Kushners in our committee. I want to subpoena those documents. And so that's what we should be pushing for. And we should take this directly to the Kushners, who have no business and have had no business working in the government, yet they can profit from it.
I think it sounds like you're going to stay on this, which I appreciate. Congressman Robert Garcia, many thanks, and my apologies that this is somewhat shorter than we anticipated. We did have a fair amount of breaking news here today, so thank you, sir. Next